Good evening. My name is David Brumstead, and today I'm going to be presenting the operations side of the equipment rental in Kircher Construction. So, background of Kircher Construction, they are based out of Mount Morris, New York. They were established in 1999. They are a private company who operates all across the Western New York. They perform services to go along with their equipment rental business, and 50% of their profit actually comes from their rental business, and the other 50% would be coming from the services they provide. So, overview of their equipment rental division. Their main customers are the general public, just people who need equipment to do tasks around their house, and smaller contractors and other construction companies that don't have access to the equipment like they do. And they hold a website where you can see all of their equipment is posted, and you can get an estimate for any specific type of equipment and tools they also run out. And they do provide delivery for equipment and tools, and delivery costs are based on mileage, which is also on their website. And you could see, given the image in the presentation, the specific costs for each type of delivery. So a bigger machine would require a bigger truck, which would make it more expensive. So the inputs for their rental business, their equipment is stored outdoors at their shop. They have pole barns. They store them in there, and they also store them under overhead roofs outdoors. And their shop is their only one location in Mount Morris, like I said. And they use it to store, maintain, and improve equipment. Their fuel, tools, and employees are also all located at the shop in Mount Morris for the process. And any customers that use their equipment are responsible for any damage or fuel that they use during the rental process for that specific machine or tool. And they use Excel to track statistics like expenses, revenues, and specific inventory for equipment and tools. The employee's responsibility in their rental business, they have 3 full-time mechanics who work on the machines and maintain them. They have 2 bookkeepers who control all the bookkeeping and online numbers that are in the rental business with all the equipment. And they have 5 truck drivers who deliver equipment and pick them up. And they have 3 shop workers that help with cleaning, organizing, and maintaining the pieces of equipment. And all equipment is reviewed before and after rental periods for maintenance. So the overall process of their rental division, they first research potential local deals, and they look for auctions that are selling machines and tools. They actually traveled all the way down south as far as to the Pennsylvania border for specific auctions that they find deals at. They've bought over 10 pieces of equipment in the last year from down in these auctions down south. So really just for them finding the best deals and what they're going to get their best return on investment for is what they're looking for. And they brand all their equipment with Kircher advertising to try to promote their brand and try to get more customers. They post to their website and clarify that to try to reach out to all customers throughout Western New York. They then prepare a contract for the customers who are willing to rent their equipment. And in this contract is included all the responsibilities that the customer is responsible for, like damage, fuel, any expenses that were to come up. They sign the contract with the customer, and the machine or tools rented out. After the rental period, if delivery was included, a Kircher shop employee would go back and get the machine, bring it back. If delivery was not included, the customer would drop it off back at their shop in Mount Morris. So then the equipment is returned, and it's reviewed for maintenance by the mechanics and shop employees. And hours for every machine are booked using Excel. And every certain number of hours, machines need maintenance and oil changes, oil filters, just regular maintenance. So that is tracked with Excel. And then the whole process starts over again where the equipment is put out for rent for the next customer. So for time management for their whole process, their customer inquiry takes about 5 minutes to actually close the deal on whether they're renting the equipment or not. Paperwork with customers can take a little longer with looking at 10 to 20 minutes. All the insurance, making sure everything is agreed upon for the whole process. And equipment prep takes about 30 minutes. And when it's returned, this includes cleaning equipment, cleaning the inside of it, wiping it down, pressure washing the equipment, getting all that mud and everything out of it so it's perfectly clean. Inspecting the equipment for any damage or any regular inspection needs that it requires. And fueling up these machines takes a little bit of time, but it's part of the process. And delivery, they will deliver up to 100 miles. So that is quite the range, but obviously the farther you are away, the more expensive the delivery is going to be. An inspection on return takes about 10 minutes to assess if there's any customer damage or any repairs that are needed. And again, any customer-caused damage is going to be paid for by the customers, and that is included in the contract. And for repairs, minor repairs take about 1 to 3 hours because mainly all the tools and parts that they have, basic parts, are already at the shop. Well, major repairs can take days, whether it's ordering parts online or if it's a huge part, then making decisions whether to fix the machine or to sell it for parts or sell it as it is. So those are decisions made by project managers, and ordering parts online takes time, and it could take days to put in these huge parts. So the outputs, they put in what they actually put out for rent. They currently hold 214 available equipment and tools that are available for rent for the general public. Their two most popular machines that they rent out are skid steers and boom lifts. These are very scarce, and you don't see them rented out by many companies. So they have 20 to 30 of these, and these machines are always in high demand, and because customers need them for projects. A skid steer is on tracks or wheels. It's used to move dirt, basic around the house. Not a digging machine, but it's used for stone, driveways, you name it. A boom lift is a machine used to go up in the air and work on stuff at high heights. So that's why those two are very popular. Big goal for Kircher is to manage their equipment and produce and buy quality equipment. The older machine, the more it's going to depreciate. And a big goal of Kircher's is also to keep their machines out there. They don't like machines sitting around their shop. They want to keep the process flowing. They want to keep equipment in the customer's hands. So making sure this whole process goes as fast and as efficient as possible is a huge goal for them. Their utilization rate is 63%, which is pretty good. That just means how much their equipment is being utilized in the whole process. So 63% of the time their equipment is out for rent and they're making money from the customers. And machines are more popular in the summer than in the winter in the overall rental business. A lot of construction work is, a lot of digging especially is done during summer. Summer and spring times the ground is softer, delivery and travel are easier. So definitely preparing for that is what they have to do in the summer and spring months. Making sure all the equipment they have is ready to go is a big thing for them. But in the winter, there is also still demand. They hold interior machines too, like a scissor lift, which is popular for reaching high heights indoors. So that machine, you could say, has a higher demand in the winter than a excavator, which would have a higher demand in the summer. So preparing for that, what machines are in demand, high or low, based on the season, is very important for them. So that leads me into forecasting. Equipment is very high in the summer and spring, like an excavator. And mechanical and basic repair are tracked through Excel once these machines are brought back. Like I mentioned before, oil, gas, and oil filters, just how much they have of it is tracked through Excel. It makes it a lot easier for them to be as efficient as possible. And as far as booking goes for forecasting, customers can book up to 3 days in advance, and all the equipment available for rent is shown on their website. So you can get estimates on their website, and you can see everything they have that you can rent out. then what you would do is just call them or send them an email saying you're interested in their equipment, and they would set up an appointment to get a contract done and get the deal done. So capacity planning for their rental process. Their fleet size is determined by what machines and tools are available. Their goal is to minimize non-usage in all their machines and tools. The storage and yard space, they have plenty of it. Although they only have one location, it is a huge location where they're allowed to store, they're allowed to organize all their equipment and tools, so it's very efficient for them. And their delivery, like I mentioned before, gets more expensive the farther the customer is. So I already mentioned this, but the bigger the truck is, the more the delivery cost is. I just thought this is a good picture to show how much delivery really is, because it's very expensive, and especially the bigger vehicle you have and the bigger machine you are towing, it's going to get more expensive. So planning for how far customers are away and upping these charges for delivery really helps them kind of separate themselves. Sorry about the cutoff there. Moving on to the project management side of their equipment rental process. Project management is crucial in determining and making sure they're profitable and they're separating their revenues and expenses. So the president of operations is John Flannery, who is pictured here. He's in charge of making all the decisions, whether it's purchasing equipment, what specific equipment they need, and how much money they're willing to spend on this. And Crystal Yasso is the manager of the equipment rental operations division. She does a lot of the bookkeeping and inventory management as far as which machines are at the shop or which machines are out for rent. And she also does a lot of the forecasting to determine where machines are and the demand, and maybe sometimes when the demand's not so high, what they should be doing with the machines. So the facility layout, like I mentioned, in Mount Morris, they have one shop where all employees are. Their office is also located at this shop, so as far as their equipment rental process and their office, it's in the same place. So even office people who aren't have anything to do with the equipment rental side of the company come into the same place. So, but it does make it a lot more efficient for people in the office that are working on the equipment rental side, because the mechanics and shop workers and everything they have in the equipment rental business is right there. So communication is very efficient and effective for that. And their location being in Mount Morris allows them to have easier access for people all across the southern parts of New York and all across western New York. And their parking in this location, shop employees and people who work on the equipment rental side, is separated from people who work in the office. So insurance for the equipment rental process, they hold commercial general liability insurance for any damage that is done to a machine. They have insurance that can cover it. These machines are worth crazy money. $50,000 to $100,000 machines are some of their most expensive machines, and brand new, they're going for crazy amounts. So having good insurance is a very important part of this business for them. And they do have equipment insurance for any theft or damage that is done to machines. They have vehicle insurance and motor vehicle insurance for hauling all these machines and delivering them. And the rental agreement with the customers includes the insurance of a customer and what would happen if the customer caused any damage, and how they are expected to pay for the damage that they cause. So having quality management, inspections are completed by mechanics and take around 20 minutes. Having good quality in the machines is crucial for them lasting long periods of time. The cleanings of the machines to maintain good quality include pressure washing and wiping down the interior. Tools are also wiped down and cleaned to maintain good quality. Like I said, any customer-caused damage is paid for by the customer, and any non-customer caused damage is paid for by Kircher themselves. So maintaining quality includes maintaining the machines and making sure any parts are ordered and up to date, and making sure these machines last long periods of time is going to help them make the most amount of profit possible. And as far as equipment and trucks or anything that's being used to haul these machines, breakdowns happen and service is required. And if it's the customer's fault, then the service is fully paid for by that customer. and that's included in the contract. But if they're not at fault, then this comes out of Kircher's pocket. So there are a lot of expenses that come with the business, but it's very profitable for them in the end. Managing their inventory, their equipment and tool rentals are all tracked through Excel. Any parts for equipment and tools are ordered and marked up in Excel with a spreadsheet showing dates and specific parts that are ordered and how much it costs them. Common inventory problems that they deal with. They do have to experience a lot of missing parts, whether it's missing tools that they need to repair machines or common parts like oil filters or parts that go out to customers that come back without them. Obviously, customers are questioned if this happens, but sometimes parts are missing and no one knows what happened, and that's a part of the business. And expensive parts require time to order them. This actually can be very costly for Kircher. Losing a couple days off of a machine could cost them hundreds of dollars. So trying to be efficient with that and efficient in managing their inventory for any replacement parts that they need is crucial for them to be successful in this business. So looking at the main problem that I see with their equipment rental business, and as far as the people I've talked to, what a major problem is they only have this one facility in Mount Morris where their equipment is stored and managed. This can make it difficult for customers to rent from them when they aren't in that specific region of Mount Morris. Like I mentioned before, their delivery is very expensive, and customers don't want to pay that much to get it delivered that many miles to their property, or contractors don't want to pay that much, especially when dealing with other contractors. Like I said, the two main customers are private parties or the general public. They don't want to travel all the way to Mount Morris if they're not from there, and they don't want to pay for that delivery. And general contractors, not a lot of general contractors are doing construction in the Mount Morris area. They're doing a lot of construction in the cities or big towns, where Mount Morris is a little down south and a little isolated, smaller town. So this can be seen as a problem for them, where they're losing customers and losing profit. And one big facility is plenty of room for all the equipment that they have, but they could be losing customers by not being in a larger target market. Like I said, Mount Morris is a small town. Not a lot of people drive by it every day, but through their website and other things, they do their best to reach the market out there. So, like I said, the impact this is going to have, they're going to have less attracted customers. Customers aren't going to want to pay for these super high delivery costs, and they're not going to want to travel all the way out there to get the equipment themselves, or they may not even have the resources or trucking or trailering available to get these machines to their private property. And large competitors like George and Swede are around a higher population. This specific company is located right around Batavia, where a lot of more people are traveling by, which is better for their advertising. And it's more of a general area where it's easier to deliver to customers, whether Mount Morris isn't as easy. And especially demand in the winter seasons and the fall seasons, where not a lot of equipment is being rented compared to the other seasons. It's wintertime in New York, and the roads are bad. People don't want to travel, and this makes them lose profits. So being in this isolated location is seen as a problem. So the solution to this problem is lower their very expensive delivery costs. Just lower them. They're crazy, but that's what it costs to haul equipment. But lowering these costs will allow customers to be okay with maybe hauling the equipment over an hour long or over 45 minutes long to their specific location. And that is the same for smaller contractors. And they can also advertise their lower delivery costs to customers, which is going to make it more attractive. And although this can be seen as a problem, but keeping everything at this one place, like I mentioned, their office, their employees, all the equipment, everything is there. So it kind of makes everything more organized and efficient. But possibly looking at purchasing a lot that is located in a more populated area can help advertise their equipment more and help them increase margins in the future. So the costs that would happen if they were to lower delivery costs or to open another facility where they can reach a larger target market Lower delivery costs would obviously decrease the money they rake in from delivery. But delivery of heavy equipment is so scarce that not a lot of people do it, so their profits are still going to be good. And all this will lead to, like I said, the target market expanding and going on to opening a location that would cost around, excuse me, 40,000 per year. But looking at that number and forecasting the profit they make each year from their equipment rental side could come down to a decision whether they want to spend that much money to move to another location and whether that would actually increase their profits by that much. So in conclusion, Kircher is constantly looking for what they can improve in the rental process. They are very profitable and very successful in the equipment and tool rental side of their business. And high margins help their business grow each year. It's very expensive to rent out equipment, and this is a business that they do very well in because the equipment is so scarce and tools are so scarce, and people are willing to spend money on the big projects that they have, and a lot of stuff has to get done, and you need the equipment to do it. And high demand but low availability, like I said, in the machines and tools business, separates them and allows them to make a lot of money in this business. Another big thing with them, they try to purchase quality equipment, like I mentioned earlier. Having good quality in their equipment allows it to last longer, and that goes for tools as well. The longer the equipment and tools are going to last, the higher profits they're going to make, and their margins are going to be separated. Thank you, guys.